3, 2, 1. What's going on, everyone? You're watching another episode of Ash on Comics. My name is Ash. Here is today's comic, The Flash, number 72, Chapter 3 of Year 1, Rise of the Rogues. Ooh. Joining me, as always, is Stan the Man. Good to see you, Stan. I'm glad you brought a drink, because I'm thirsty. Can always count on you. Thanks, bud. All right. This has been a fun series so far. Year 1 carries kind of a, I don't think stigma is the right word, a connotation to it that, from Batman Year 1, which is, I think, my favorite comic of all time, a connotation of quality because of that. Everyone's tried to live up. Ever since Batman Year 1 came out, everyone's like trying to make Year 1 comics or Year 2 comics, and they want to achieve that. Just kind of like the Old Man Logan, right? The original Old Man Logan was fantastic, and then it's like, let's do a bunch of old man stories because everyone remembered how good Old Man Logan was. It's like, fortunately, Year 1 hasn't been abused in that fashion, and for the most part, Year 1 stories seem to be pretty decent. Frank Miller set an impossibly high bar. How is Joshua Williamson, one of the better writers at DC, handling it? So far, speaking of Year 1, here we go, Superman Year 1 by Frank Miller. Pretty soon, Frank Miller is going to have to try to reach his own bar that he set. Will he be able to do it? Well, I'll keep you posted. So, as you remember, we left off, Turtle's in town. It's present day. Flash still hasn't decided what he's going to be. He was trying to meet Iris on a date. Turtle just kind of crossed paths because Turtle's robbing a bank and everything, and some threats happened, yada yada. Anyways, Flash doesn't like bullies, kind of stood up to Turtle. So now Turtle's like, oh look, a new friend wants to play. I'm going to kick your shell, Turtle. Trash talk is not my superpower. But I learned from bullies that words can hurt. That didn't matter to me when I was a kid. If I saw someone being picked on, I'd step up. No matter how bad it got or how much they pushed me around. I'd never throw a punch. That's been true my whole life. Until today. Bow. He's called the Turtle. Today he's a bank robber. And I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I recently took a trip to a horrific future where he's king of Central City. So I had this super genius idea to use my super speed to stop him today and maybe prevent that future. No, I don't think so. But I didn't factor in his powers to slow things down, countering my speed, and now I'm pretty much powerless. Credits. Chapter 3, The Slowest Man Alive. Curious, and he's this boom uppercut to the chin. You're like me. How did you get these powers? Now, pay attention, Tom King. I forget what the 3 dots is called. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember. There's a term for it. This is how you use them. Turtle speaks real slow, broken up. This is not just to be hipster writing and postmodern cool. Your speed is intoxicating, but slow and steady always wins the race. I need to get some distance between us and his energy field stealing my speed. No, this is gonna hurt. What? And I'm vibrating into the wall. But the last time I did that, boom! So the wall shatters, all the bricks. How? That wasn't. And the bricks are falling on everyone. Supposed to. And I like how Williamson slows down time here by having frame after frame of not much happening. It's like, bricks are falling. Next frame, still not much movement. Oh my God. Time speeding up again. Those bricks could hurt Iris and the police officers. And then you see, I have a second before Tor recovers. Maybe less. Woo, 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 boom. Down. Grabbing the brick. Where is he? He made me look foolish. I'll slow all of you down to nothing. And then the police officer just tase the shit out of him. Don't tase me, bro. If you get that meme, then applause to you. Whoa. Iris is looking at the scene. Nice big shot. Attention dispatch. We have a code 42. Call Star Labs. We need a pickup now. Did any of you feel that? Almost like static in the air. Uff. I got lucky. Big time. We need to be smarter about this. And Iris. So he goes back, talks to Iris, and sorry I'm late. Barry, oh right, coffee. And a Central City girl doesn't like to be kept waiting, Alan. And I don't say this to be mean, but what happened to your face? It's like, I'm not sure I would be attracted to this woman. Like, bitch, there was just a major crime scene. Like, he didn't keep you waiting. First of all, you're not even at the coffee shop. Whatever. So he's like, pretty smooth. How about dinner instead? Coy smile. There's a diner I go nearby that serves breakfast all day. Great, I'm starving. And did I really do it? Did I save the future? And it's kind of a nice little romance here. It's not too sappy. I like it. And so we get this 2-page shot here of almost like a montage. For so long, I was afraid of what tomorrow would bring. I had no idea how much of my life I was losing or worrying, that it was a waste of time. But now, because of the speed, I have time for relationships, for work, for friends, to use the speed to help people. And so we get this, put cue the 80s music montage. No. And then at the end, it's like they're walking through the park, holding hands, and look at the doves and the sunset. And it's just like all idyllic. I'm looking forward to tomorrow, but I still feel like I can do more. I started to leave a kind of signature. The lightning changed my life for the better, so I felt like showing others that symbol was my way of honoring it. Of course, I'd race by later and clean it. Good to put that in there, Josh, because I was like, what the fuck? Flash is just vandalizing shit? Of course, but it was proof for the day that someone was looking out for them. And then she's like interviewing, oh, and he wore red? And yeah, he was like, zoom, boom. He totally took those guys out in a flash before I even blinked. And then suddenly, there was just boxes of pizza everywhere. It was awesome. I really liked that panel. That was cool. And then he's like, I'm trying to figure out a way to get in the costume faster. So we see the iconic ring. I don't know how he was able to invent something like this, but whatever. It's comics, right? And he's working at home and doing this, and Iris shows up. Surprise, buzz me in. Iris, here? I'm not ready. And he's like, oh, shit. Of course, but he's the Flash. So it's boom, 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 boom. And by the time she gets up the stairs, oh, you look fancy. I just threw something on. And she's commenting on how he's a nerd. Oh, did you make these? You're not just a nerd or a science nerd. You're a nerd. Yeah, I'm busted. That's me. Nerdy guy. You've got some classics here. I read this one once. Stole my brother's copy. But don't worry. I got my own nerdy side. I'm really into horror movies. So again, a little bit more flirty stuff. And she's trying to... I kind of like this too, by the way. That in Marvel Comics, characters are all sleeping around all the time. And it's very just modern and just no real care about, family values anymore. I really like the fact that we get this one. These guys have been dating for a while, and it's clear that they've been taking it real slow. And she has this little scene right here. She's like, well, we don't have to order right now. And he's like, but, because they're talking about ordering pizza. What do I have to say to get you to speed up, Alan? It's okay if the pizza doesn't get here until late. Bow, chicka, wow, wow. So, clear signals that, obviously you wouldn't have to act like that if you guys were just sleeping around on the first date. And then all of a sudden she gets paged from work, and So she's like, she's got to go. Barry's understanding. Kiss on the cheek, right? It's all very wholesome, but it's not done in this like overt way. It's just, it's fine. Like you'd read it and not think anything of it, but I like that they could just tell a story like this and not have to have the characters like, you know, if this were a Bendis book, you'd see them naked in bed and talking about how, like, you know, having a round two, and it's just like, that's not what heroes are about, okay? Like, if you want to read about sex and all that's, like, if you want to read that sort of stuff, there are other genres of fiction and other mediums that you can go for. I'm not judging anyone. I'm just saying comics really aren't for that, especially modern superhero comics. I'm sure there's, you know, sex. There's comics that are dealing with that in the indie scene. Really, every single time, every time. Yeah. Should I go out the door? Yep, we got you on camera, buddy. You're guilty. So, I don't want to go on too long about that. Hopefully, you understand what I mean. Again, I don't want it to be preachy the other way around, right? I don't want it to be saying, you know, kissing on the first time. I don't want it to go either way. Just have a normal heroes be heroes. There's enough of the story there that we know that they're romantically involved, and we don't need to see their sex life. Okay, so they're going into how Barry's becoming the Flash, you know, and he's starting to plot crime and uses his abilities, and so he's on one of his first cases as the Flash, and he's stalking this guy. I forgot his name already. So this evidence leads him directly to Clive Yorkin, and so this is going to be one of his rogues. I'm not sure which one this one is. I'm not a big Flash guy. I think it's the Freeze guy? I forget his name. I'm not a big Flash guy, so. But anyways, you don't need to be for this book. Not a bad score, guys, and they're all talking about their work. And then Flash is about to intervene, and it's like, excuse me, Clive Yorkin? And then there's Iris on the scene with her smartphone filming them as they've just robbed a pharmaceutical. Like, this is classic, like, DC Comics, like Lois Lane, like, excuse me, Lex Luthor, I see you're about to try to take over the world. Can I interview you? Like, it's so out there, but it's like comics, and we see Flash like, what? Hide in the shadows. Hey, get that camera out of my face. Handle your business, Yorkin. We don't need that kind of heat. I just have some questions for you about John Banks. How about no comment and you take a hike? Did you murder him? And then like not even a block away. It's like 20 yards away. Like, it's a bunch of police. Hey, you seeing this? Geez, if you're not going away, come on, dogs. Apparently the dogs want to see this. I'm getting all excited. And like, you're coming with us. Can I get a quote on that? She knees him in the groin. How about I take you off the record? Now remember, there's cops right here. Flash is right there. Chill out, those cops are gonna see you. And then he just starts unloading. I don't care. And he's just like bang, 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 just fucking unloading. You're like, holy shit. But meanwhile, boom, Barry erupts from his little hiding place in the alley. And he's like, zip, 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 zip. And you can see him catching individual bullets. I don't know if you can, here, I can blow some of it up here. I mean, this is just a real cool shot from the artist, I thought. He's catching a bullet. The bullet's about to hit Iris, and he's just, and he's right there. And, yeah, there you go. Catches that last bullet. And she's like, what the hell was that? You boys just got busted by the Flash. And Barry's like, darts into his apartment, gasping for air, and then collapses. Oh, a stray bullet hit our boy in the chest. This isn't good. End of chapter 3, Dead Man Walking. Now, we of course know this is year 1, and Barry goes on to live at least before he dies in Infinite Crisis, or Crisis on Infinite Earth, sorry. But so we know he's not going to die here, but that's still, as you're reading this, you're like, oh shit, our boy. Like, I wasn't thinking like that. The narrative carried me, and I was like, oh man, what's going to happen next? So that's good writing, good storytelling, that even though I know he can't die, my brain kind of shut that off for a moment, and I was just following the storyline. Whoa, oh my God, our hero. Bravo, Joshua Williamson. Oh God, speaking of Bendis. This is a good book. It's not as amazing as I was kind of hoping it would be. You know, when I hear about like year one, my mind, like I said earlier, my mind always goes back to like Batman Year One, which is my favorite comic of all time. There's just something so perfect about that book. And I kind of, when I think of like, oh, Flash Year One, I think of that same kind of quality story, but about the Flash. And I know that's not fair, but it's still, I'm coming into it with my excitement and enthusiasm and my hopes, and it doesn't live up to that. But that's not a critique to say, well, this is not the best comic ever, so therefore it sucks. It's not suck at all. This is a 4-star book. I very much like it. I'm very glad I'm reading it. I've read a couple Flash books in the past. If you ever watched the Ash and Bats show that I used to do with Bats, he had us read a Jeff Johns Flash story that was pretty fun. I know Flash from the old school TV show back in the 90s. And I see Flash in like various books I read, like Justice League and stuff like that. And so the crossovers, I get a little taste of Flash, but I've never actually read Flash himself. So this is kind of my introduction. So this is a book that's really well suited for me to like, oh, who's this Flash guy? And where does he come from? So I'm really enjoying it on that level. Hopefully you can find some enjoyment on that too. If you're an old school Flash fan, you're like, I've been reading Flash for 20 plus years. Tell me what you think. Like, how is this book resonating for you? Does it make any difference? Or are you just like, I don't think this is the deep level story of like what I want from a year one, but I'm very happy. Like, this is a fun story. It's a great jumping on point, I think, for new readers. If you're like me and you don't know who Flash is, this issue 70 is the start of it. You can pick it right up and decide then, do you like Flash or not like Flash? I'm finding this very fun. It's making me appreciate the character more than I used to. And he never very much interested me, but seeing the character, this is a solid thing too for comics that I don't think a lot of writers understand. Feeling the character, like who that person is, and caring about them makes their heroic identity that much better. I don't care if a character is super cool looking and awesome on the page and he's got a great hero. Like, those things might get me to pick up a book and go, oh, this sounds cool. But I'm going to lose interest unless I really care about who the person is. As an example, my favorite Marvel character for a long time was Wolverine. I'm not sure if he still is, but then people go, oh, everyone's favorite comic character is Wolverine. Yeah, he got really overdone because Wolverine is one of those characters that he's got that cool factor. You see him, he's got a cool name, he's got a cool outfit, he's got cool abilities and powers, and you're like, he's cool, and you want to like him. But the reason why Wolverine became my favorite character was because of who he was. When Claremont wrote him in the X-Men, this is long before he ever had his own miniseries. When Claremont wrote him in the X-Men, it started developing this character in this past, and he's actually been alive for much longer than he looks in age. And then he paired up, and Frank Miller came in the scene. And Frank Miller always just seems to make every character better. And Frank Miller helped co-write this story with Chris Claremont, where he was, fell in love with this Japanese princess. And he was trying to study to become, the ways of the samurai because he had this berserker animalistic nature that he couldn't control. And he thought, the the way of the samurai and, learning to be more zen, all this stuff would kind of quell that nature, and he was trying to become more human, and then fighting for his love against the father. It just, the storyline, and then Weapon X, the whole original Weapon X storyline of where he came as the super soldier program, all this stuff, this behind the scenes stuff in this character, and he's come to Charles Xavier to try to figure himself out. All these things fleshed out an interesting person, a being, a guy who was vicious and savage, but had this gentleness to him. And that's why he, in the early days, he had this connection with Kitty Pryde, that in the movies they switched her out for Rogue. But Kitty Pryde always had, there's always a young girl that brings out his soft side. Later on, that became Jubilee, and then in the movies, Logan, they brought out X-23. There's always this softer, fatherly side. And anyways, I'm getting way off track. My point being, character means something. You can make a character interesting and care about the person that's inside, that makes the secret identity character. That makes them all that much better, and that's what this book is doing for me. So I went way over time. Sorry to blather on like that. At least it was at the end, so if you got bored, you could have tuned out by now. But if you did, you're not even hearing what I'm saying. Stan, what'd you think? Thumbs up? Yeah, I thought so, buddy. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned. Next time, we'll figure out what happened to Barry. Does he die? It's time for another Jail 8 webcomic, number 45, by Yale Stewart. Excuse me, Diana. May I ask you a question? Sure, John. I'm sorry. I'm just a little confused. On Earth, is it common for a new outfit to signal a growth and maturity? I've never heard of such custom on Mars. I fear being held back in school due to a lack of understanding this particular custom. Oh, John. No. Boys are just stupid here on Earth. Huh?